Live from Houston, Texas, a show for local business owners. This is Business Houston Podcast. If you're a small or medium-sized business, this is your source for trends, interviews, and tips for winning in today's economic climate. Presented by the BBB for Greater Houston and South Texas. You're listening to Business Houston, and this is your host, Matt Bertram.
And boom, we're live. Haven't done one of these in a minute. My name is Matt Bertram. This is Business Houston Podcast. I got Steve Smith here with me today from Blue Ribbon Roofing. Steve, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Awesome. Well, I'm glad for us to get on. I know it's been a little bit of back and forth to get you here, so I'm glad we could finally get this done. So 5:30 on a Wednesday, right? 5:30 on a Wednesday?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, Steve, okay, like Better Business Bureau, roofing companies, okay, there's a lot of roofing companies. So tell me a little bit about like what makes y'all different, and then maybe a little bit about yourself and how you got started.
Oh, okay. As far as myself, I grew up in Fort Madison, Iowa. Moved to Houston about 25 years ago. And Blue Ribbon Roofing has been servicing the greater Houston community since 2010. We've worked relentlessly to open up a business, build a business that we can be proud of, that we can give back to the community, and help provide for my family. Every project we undertake, we do it to the best of our ability. Try to do it right the first time. No one's perfect though. But when we make mistakes, we correct them, and we've tried to continue to evolve so that we can, provide better service on each job.
Fantastic. So, you weren't a born Texan, but you got here as soon as you could. So,
yes, my wife is native, so I'm halfway there, right?
Fantastic. And so, tell me a little bit about why roofing. Why did you get into roofing? Like, what drew you to that?
I'd done work when I was a teenager. One of a friend of mine's dad had a roofing company, and so in the summers jump on the roof, and mainly when I started out I was tearing off and schlepping shingles, carrying them up the ladder and all that sort of thing. And then as time went along, I got into sales and had an opportunity to go into roofing sales. So I had a little bit of knowledge and background on it from doing the work myself, so it was a good fit. And then then just eventually just branched out on my own.
Yeah. And so you are mainly in residential roofing, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then where are you based out of?
Our office is in Jersey Village, but we go all over. We go all over Houston, Katy, Sugar Land, Conroe, greater Houston community.
Okay. And is there anything that you specialize in? I know that there's other roofing companies that do random things like metal roofing, or they work with insurance companies, or everybody has kind of their kind of unique
Niche.
selling proposition. Yeah, their niche. And I'm just curious to better understand who your like ideal customer is. Like, so you're servicing all of Houston, you do residential roofing. But like, is there a real niche or a type of customer that you seem to be the best fit for?
As far as residential goes, we do both insurance work and retail work. We mainly concentrate on shingles. We're a select shingle master company with Certainty. Certainty's the largest shingle manufacturer in North America. They've been around over 100 years. We have their highest accreditation, which is Select Shingle Master Company, and less than 1% of roofing companies in America can make that claim. We're one of them. We have to take classes, tests, our representatives, our crew, we all have to take classes and tests in order to attain that. And then to maintain it, we have to submit 20 customer names a year, maintain an 80% rating with them. We have a 94% rating with them. And then we also have to show them, we're financially viable. We pay our bills, maintain proper levels of insurance, all that sort of thing. But I would say mainly, to answer your question, mainly we do, shingles. We've done all types of roofing, but the majority of the work here in Houston on residential is going to be, your standard shingles. There's some tile, there's some metal, and different types, but we mainly do shingles because that's what's mainly out there, if that makes sense.
No, I think you really hit on something that's super important to dive into a little bit more. Like I've talked to a number of different people that if Harvey or something like that came through, and there's a lot of people popping up and saying that they're a roofing company, and even I've heard some things on like people's ranches and different
Sure.
kind of things where they hire somebody to do a roof, and then that person might run off with the money, or not finish the job, or not do it right. Like certainly to have some of
Sure.
that accreditation is really quite important. And so, I mean, it sounds like that's certainly something that's important to you, but like, can you maybe elaborate on that a little bit more for the listeners?
Sure. I mean, I think first of all, trust is earned, right? And honesty and transparency are the easiest ways to convey that to customers. So when we meet with customers, initially, we give them a packet of information. Not only do we have the awards and accreditation with the Better Business Bureau and certainty, but we're also a Google guaranteed company, which they back our work up to $3,000. We're part of a company called Directory, which backs our. They vet contractors, meaning they do background checks and check into all our reviews and things like that. They back our business up to $20,000. And so we provide, and in addition to that, we have a lot of reviews. We have over all the platforms: Facebook, Google, BBB,
Yeah.
Yelp, all that stuff. We have over 175 star reviews. So we provide customer with all that information, including copies of our insurance, copies of our general liability, as well as workman's comp. Workman's comp's a big one here in Texas because it's not required, so most contractors don't carry it, but we do, for the customer's peace of mind and for our protection as well. And then we also provide the customer with letters from our suppliers showing them that we pay our bills on time, and that our accounts are in good standing. They've always been in good standing, and that's important to a customer, because if a contractor doesn't pay their bills, then the supplier can go back to them and say, hey, they're on your house, so we can file a lien, we can file a mechanic's lien on your home. So it's important to provide that information to them, that you're not going to have to worry about that with us, one, and two, this is can be a result of hiring a contractor that does that. In addition to all that, because again, like you were saying, everybody's heard a horror story about a contractor. So we don't ask for any money down until we actually start the work. So the day of the job, once material's there, once our crew's there, then we ask for the down payment. Just because, like you said, I don't want for 1 second for one of our customers to think that we took their money and we ran off to Vegas or something like that. So we just we're not taking any money until everything's here and we're doing the work. Then we take the down payment.
No, fantastic. No, you're already starting to really differentiate yourself, which I think's super important for people to hear, because there's, a lot of choices out there. Tell me a
Absolutely.
little bit more about like the Better Business Bureau and what that accreditation means to you.
Well, I think it's important. It helps establish credibility, obviously, for us. But I also think, just as importantly, it kind of aligns with what we're doing, because their mission is to advancing marketplace trust, right? And they do it in a variety of ways by trying to educate businesses and companies, and then also tracking how those businesses how they operate, and how they treat their customers. So like I said, I think it lends credibility of our business, but it also points out when people aren't doing the right thing. So I think it's a good thing for everybody involved, for consumers, for for companies. It helps, like I said, all the the winning awards with the Better Business Bureau is something that every year we feel, as time has gone along, we've won every year. We've been fortunate enough to win every year that we've been in business. So as time has gone along, we feel a pressure, I guess, to live up to that. And so, as I'm talking, it's funny because I was talking to a customer the other day, and as I'm explaining all this to him, he hired me for the job, and he said, you got to live, you got a lot to live up to now. And I said, well, that's every job we do, we're auditioning for the next job, right? So we have to, we got to perform on this one, so your neighbors and your friends and your family and all those people want to use us for the next one. So that's, like I said, it's a great organization because it aligns with, for us as Blue Ribbon Roofing, it aligns with what we believe as well. And, treating people the right way, doing good business, taking care of your business. If, like I said before, nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. But, I think my dad used to tell me the true measure of a man, and, in this case, company is, if you, again, nobody's perfect, but how do you respond when things don't go the right way? Do you respond positively and take care of it, or do you kind of run and hide? So I don't run and hide. I take care of things.
That's fantastic. No, that I think is certainly a true measure of how you do business, and with the spirit of what you're trying to achieve. Right? Nobody's perfect, but if you do right by the customer, that goes a long way. I think
Yes,
also
sir.
having a third party verification of somebody else being able to kind of police and hold things accountable to a degree. The Better
Absolutely.
Business Bureau actually has a lot of really good tools available for not just employers, but also customers. And I think they were really the first gold standard in the space to start providing some of that clarity as people seek out, a service, right? Like now everything's like online. I mean, I think that even referrals are now made like through social media, right? Like
Sure, sure,
it's
sure.
like the platforms have changed, but the how people do business is the same, and you have a lot more tools. You listed a lot of different platforms and ways to build that trust. So I think certainly it's incredibly important in today's day and age. So let's pivot a little bit. Tell me a little bit about the market right now. Like anybody you talk to is, well, oil, right, has been most recently, and supply chain issues, but housing has been very, very hot right now. It seems like, with the COVID pandemic, people have spent more time at home. There's more of a value associated with like where you live, and housing, just I think all across Texas really, and elsewhere, has been quite a hot commodity. Why do you think that is, and what are the trends that you're seeing with roofing?
Well, like you said, I think a lot of people over the last couple of years, spent more time at home and have had more time to kind of evaluate and live in their house more. So they see the faults or the issues, or they see their neighbor has a nice new roof, or they painted their house, or whatever the case is, and we all want our stuff to look good, for the most part. So when you see those things going on, it's kind of a fever that gets going. So people want to keep their homes up and keep up appearances and those sorts of things, and certainly keep, if there's leaks or anything like that. A lot of times people would call us, particularly in 2020, when things had first started with COVID and everything. People were calling us and saying, I've had this leak for a year now. I just haven't had a chance to address it. And so now they're home, and so they give us a call and address it. But as far as supply chains, it's still, this latest wave hasn't really hit us yet. As far as the oil prices and everything like that, I'm sure that's coming. But as far as the COVID stuff went, it's still kind of ongoing. We still don't have access to all of the. So most of the shingle manufacturers, they have a variety of colors that they offer, and they've pared that down to where you can still access them, but they're not nearly as readily available as they
Hmm.
used to be. There used to be stacks of them in the supply yard everywhere, and now you have your basic colors. Those are the ones that you can get to, and then the others, you got to kind of hunt and peck around a little bit. So as a business, we've just kind of had to, expand our reach a little bit. I've always been of the mindset that, I find good people to work with. Any good business is built not just by one person, but by, the people that you surround yourself with, right?
Yeah.
And so I've always thought loyalty is a two-way street. So I've always tried to find, suppliers. I've worked with the same crew for 11 years now. I always tell folks, the same crew that did my house, the ones that coming to do your house, and it's true, and they're good guys and they know what they're doing. But as far as suppliers, I've always kind of found the supplier that I liked and then worked with them, and for the most part, I do most of my work with them, and I still operate that way. But with this, I've had to kind of expand that reach and, create more relationships, I guess, so that, so that I could hopefully provide the customer with what they want. Cause, I certainly don't want to, if I can avoid it, I don't want to force a customer into a decision that they're not going to be happy with long term, because that roof's going to be up there a while, and color wise, it can kind of, with some folks it's just a roof and it doesn't matter. With some folks, that can make or break the way their house looks. So I want to make sure that they're, every time they pull in the driveway, they're happy with what they see. So
No, for sure. So you talked about a couple different things. You talked about, well, the design aspect of the roofs and kind of the keeping up with the neighbors component of it. And then there's also, the leak component of it, of like, hey, like there's been a leak here. We really need to get this taken care of. Can you maybe walk through, if there's any prospective people listening out there, how do you walk somebody through that decision-making process of like repair versus full on new roof? And like, what are the things or telltale signs that you need to look for to say, all right, it probably is time now that, do I need to patch this, or do I need to get a new roof? Or, what are the considerations when someone's,
well, I would say, first of all, initially, if you see, spots on your ceiling, and by spots, you're looking at, like, I always call them tree rings, where you get a spot on there and then it kind of expands. If you're
uh-huh.
seeing that, wet spots, that's, usually either roofing or plumbing. It's, we do a free inspection, so we'll always come take a look. Another sign that the roof is, maybe getting towards the end of its life, is you start seeing granules come off, and you'll see them in your driveway or in your gutters, near your downspouts if you have gutters, that sort of thing. You'll start seeing a little staining on like your fascia and things like that from the granules dripping down, and then the color kind of leaking onto it. But obviously the leak is the biggest, hey, we need to get something taken care of. Now, as far as evaluating whether you need a new roof, or, it's just a repair situation, what we do, every time we go out and meet with a customer, first of all, we physically access the roof so that we can see what's going on, so we can touch it, we can feel it, we know what's going on. We also take pictures of everything, because for me as a consumer, it's important that I don't need to be an expert on everything that I buy, but I want to know the gist, and I want to know what my options are, and so we try and relay that experience, or, convey that experience to customers, provide that experience to them by showing them pictures and saying, you have option A or option B, we can do, and, sometimes there's only option A. It just, you know what I mean? But we try to give them the best information so they can make an informed decision, what's best for them and their family and, their pocketbook.
Yeah. So I think we've covered a lot. I think we've been able to uncover, how you're different than other roofing companies. Can you remind me of, you said you're part of the 1% of suppliers, or
We're 1% of we're a select shingle master company with
okay,
certainty.
that's
There's less than 1% of roofing companies in America can make that claim, and we're one of them. And that's certainty's been around for over 100 years. And we, like I said, the important thing to me is, with some manufacturers, you're writing them a check and they tell everyone you're a fantastic roofer, right? with certainty. I not only have to prove it once, but every year, over and over and over again. And that means a lot more to me than, a check cleared. So.
For sure. No. And you highlighted a lot of other different associations and things of that nature. So I think that that's incredibly important, and the peace of mind to know, hey, like, these people are insured and bonded, and like, they're not going to run off with my money, and they've proven out success, and they have a ton of reviews. And then, I think you highlighted some good things that people could look for if their roof was starting to potentially fail, and that, you also provide a free inspection that you come out and take a look at it for them. So I feel like in a lot of ways, give someone a good understanding. You've been in the business a long time. You've been actually doing it since you've been in, teenage years or what have you. And I think that really says a lot about consistency and really understanding the business and being able to offer that. And I think you've been able to show who you are, and certainly feel like you're well trusted. And I think that's
I appreciate that.
Really, really phenomenal. And free inspection. There's no real reason to not, if you have a concern, give y'all a call to check it out. So with Blue Ribbon Roofing, is there anything else that we didn't cover? And then, like, what's the best way to get in contact with you or your team?
I'd say we covered, for the most part, we covered everything. But the best way to get in contact is you can call us directly at 713-299-1930. You can look us up on our website is blueribbonroofing@gmail.com, or excuse me, blueribbonroofingllc.com. You can email us, blueribbonroofing@gmail.com, or you can email us through the website as well.
So I'm pulling up the website for those that are watching, blueribbonroofingllc.com, and he's got a lot of great information of his awards and reviews and service areas. If you have any questions and FAQs, all kinds of really great stuff, with probably, it looks like a nice drone shot of some roof repair going on there.
Well, one more thing I guess I would say, I'm sorry, I thought of.
Yeah, no.
One more thing that we try to do is my wife has not one green thumb but two, so we try to leave a light footprint when we do the work, and it's construction, so it is a construction project, but we use a netting system, and where basically we try and set it up around the home so that when the shingles come off, it catches everything, and it protects, bushes and plants and things of that nature. So that, we, like I said, we try and leave as light a footprint as possible. And, I always tell folks, our goal every time is, if you didn't know we were coming, of course they're going to know we're coming. We're going to schedule it together and everything. But if you didn't know we were coming and you didn't look up, you wouldn't know that we had been there.
No, that's a big deal. I'm glad we had an opportunity to cover that. So, Steve, it was great to have you on a Business Houston podcast. Look forward to getting the word out about your company. So,
all right. Well, thank you so much for having us, and we're excited to see it.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.
Thanks, sir. Bye.
Thanks so much for listening. Business Houston puts a spotlight on local small and medium-sized business, interviewing those successful business owners in Houston and those business owners that are winning in today's economic climate. Business Houston is presented to you by the BBB of Greater Houston and South Texas. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on social media at Hugh Biz Podcast. That's HOU Biz Podcast. Till next time, this is Business.